Hey, what is going on, everybody? Boilon here, back for another video on Raid Shadow Legends, and in today's video, I want to talk about some of the existing promo codes that are available for the month of June that are active now, because some of these represent basically the best characters that you can use if you're starting a brand new account. There are a couple of good ones, but I want to go over the characters like in more depth in terms of deciding which of these characters are the best that you should choose. But before we get into that, and in that video, I do want to remind people that, when you're starting a brand new account, you should download using the QR code in the top right or the link in the description down below to get yourself a free legendary Karato Fox Hunter. So this is really important too. That's another legendary on top of the ones that we're going to be talking about. But you'll also get yourself 3 free epics as well. So you'll get yourself Tagore, Ugo, and Thane at account level 10, 20, and 30. These are very great characters. So you're going to get Karato and these 3, and then you're going to get one more from the promo codes that we're going to be talking about in this video. There's going to be a whole bunch, and I kind of just want to break them down one by one to give you guys a good idea of what to expect with these characters. Now, the very first one that I want to talk about is going to be Tholen Foulbeard. So you can get him by using the promo code Demon Slayer within the first 48 hours of a brand new account. That's for all of the promo codes have to be used. I would recommend doing it first. So this is Demon Slayer for Tholen Foulbeard. Now, I did just unlock him myself in the game properly through the fusion event, which was a little bit challenging. You can find, actually, no, you can't, because I already did it. Sorry, my bad, because I already did it, so it's no longer in there. But it's just ending, and you can see my Tholen Foulbeard is right here. I do need to finish getting him to level 60. And I want to, go into bigger detail in terms of these characters and why I think, these are very good characters. They're also good for different reasons. So for Tholen Foulbeard, I'll admit I haven't spent the most amount of time using him to kind of go over that, but he is a very good damage-based character. I do need to get some legendary books into him to get his damage up even more, but he's an insane damage dealer type. So his passive, we'll just start there. So every 5 turns that he takes, he activates his basic one more time, his A1 Demon Breaker, and this is an AoE attack. And then before he actually does the damage, he has a 25% chance of placing Weaken for 2 turns on all the enemies. This goes up to 50% if you have the books in place. It also has a higher chance if you're fighting enemies from the Corrupted Alliance. That is, I believe, factions like Undead Hordes, the Knights Revenant, the evil type of enemies, or a boss or a minion, and it cannot be resisted by enemies from the Corrupted Alliance. Really, really good, and grants an extra turn if a weaken debuff was placed on all enemies by this skill. So if you're doing wave clearing and you do this and then it hits the weekend on all of them, then he is going to get a free turn. He also has some really insane AoE damage with Rabid Fury, so attacks all enemies twice, and then it gives him an increased attack buff before he even does that. And for each critical hit landed, it increases the damage dealt on the second hit by 10%, ignores unkillable and shield. So he's just a huge damage type character. I kind of want to just bring him into battle. We're going to do, I need some XP anyways, right, for him. So we're going to do 12, actually, we'll just do 12-7. Why not? We'll go to the boss level here. I'm not going to do the super raid, but I'm just going to show you what I mean in terms of his attacks. I actually had Alice, and we're going to talk about Alice in a minute. But the Alice was my previous wave clear. I want to show you what happens with that. Unfortunately, I didn't land in all of them. I don't have all the skills. Let's just clear it out. So Alice is a really good AoE wave clear as well. They're just basically going to be fighting to the death a little bit here, but I want to show you some of the skills, the other skills, and what they look like. Bam, bam. Does that as well. Again, my Alice is a little bit more geared than my Tholen because I just got him unlocked, but here, let's just do another basic. And then his A2 attack is a single target attack. I think the problem here is that I'm Force Red going up against Spirit Green, and this is a disadvantage for Tholen a little bit, so I'm not hitting as hard as like my Alice would, who has, strength against that. So that is a small problem. We can do that again on 12-3 just to show how that works. It might be a little bit easier because they are, they're all Spirit as well. So Tholen will have an advantage on a magic-based character, so that might be why it's not doing that. But we can do the AoE, bam, bam. It's just really cool looking, does a lot of damage, and just for the purposes of this, let's see if we land them all. We did not. If I had the books in there, I bet you I could land Weaken on all 4, and then I would also get a free turn, so that would be really nice. No, we didn't, but I mean, still, it's still a really strong skill, and my Tholin's not even maxed out. So there you go. That's what Tholin Falbeard looks like. Another strong character. If you are going through, or if you're starting your account right now, you can get him, and you can also be running the Demon Slayer Titan event, which is lasting over the next 2 weeks, to get yourself some free red stars for him as well. So this is a really nice thing if you are thinking of picking him up as your promo code character. So that's Tholin Falbeard. Let's move on to the second. Now, the second character I want to talk about is going to be the one we just kind of showcased in battle a little bit, and that is going to be Alice the Wanderer. Now, she was originally available in the Alice Chase, which was from January through March, and so that was like a 2-month-long thing where you could get her unlocked free by logging in for 7 days, and now she's a promo code under Get Alice. So if you do want Alice the Wanderer as your promo code legendary character, she is actually the best character in my roster. Now, there is some caveats to that. She is a very heavy damage dealer type as well. She does a little bit different things that that Tholin Falbeard doesn't do, namely her AoE Clockwork Cyclone, which you saw me use in the Tholin a little bit, right? That was the big AoE damage. And she also has a chance to increase the cooldowns of enemy skills, which is very good for things like PvP for Arena. It's also really good for wave clearing in places like Doom Tower, campaigns, things like this, which basically puts their skills on cooldown so they can't use it and they're forced to use their basic A1. It also does a little bit of turn meter reduction as well. It does hit pretty hard, but she doesn't do any debuffs. So unlike Tholin Falbeard, she does just pure raw damage with some increasing of the cooldowns, but she doesn't do any debuffs. She also doesn't really apply any buffs to herself either. So she's pretty selfish in that regard. And why I think that while she does really good damage, a lot of that is because I have the free 5 red stars. Now, I got this through the Alice Chase back in February. So this is something that is not going to be available to you if you decide to pick her up as your character. That being said, she looks really cool. I love the attention to detail that Plarium puts on these characters. So this is Alice the Wanderer here with the rabbit, right? Whatever the name of the rabbit is in Alice in Wonderland, right? Really, really great model. If we compare it to Tholin Falbeard, I mean, he's even really cool too. We didn't really touch on the model for that character, but on the back, he's got like a demon head. So Plarium does a really good job with the character models, and I just really wanted to point that out. So as far as Alice versus Tholin, I think a lot of this will come down to red stars. So if you use Alice the Wanderer, you are not going to have that, and that'll be a bit of a hit in terms of your overall damage for this character. You won't have this blessing brimstone like I have, which I was able to take advantage because of those free red stars that I was able to pick up. And as far as additional stats go, it's quite significant that the 5 red gives. You can see 8,500 hit points, 750 attack, 38% crit damage, which is very big, 75 accuracy, 75 resist, all of this stuff, which you will not have at the beginning of the game if you choose Alice as your character. But she is a great wave clearer, and that is one of the most important things in Raid Shadow Legends. But you could also do that with Tholin. So, I mean, if you have a really good Tholin, you can do exactly the same thing. My Tholin did not have any masteries, but for example, I'm just going to run this again, because it's really important in Raid Shadow Legends to have a super strong damage-based character, whether it's Tholin Falbeard, whether it's Alice. You know, you need to be able to clear this really quick so that you can grind your XP out, right? I'm just going to use both their skills, but just to put example, like they both have AoE. I guess the nice thing about Tholin is that his basic is actually AoE, whereas Alice's is not. Nonetheless, you know, they both do really good damage. They just do a little bit different things. They're different factions. One's a dwarf, one's Sacred Order. I was going to say human. She is a human. A Sacred Order. One is magic. One is force. So I would say, depending on the character that you want to play the most, that makes sense for you and what you like the appeal of based on what I have said here. Now, I do want to go over onto the third character because I do think that this one is very important as well. All right, and for the third and final promo code character that I want to talk about in today's video is going to be the legendary Void Champion Tahanak. Now, you can get her by using the promo code Desert Queen, as you see here on the screen. And I want to talk about her because she is a support-based champion. Unlike the first two for Tholin and Alice, she does a little bit different things. But it's really important because, oftentimes, in my opinion, I find that some of the biggest changes to your roster and progression is going to be the support characters that you actually have on your roster. So she's part of the Barbarians faction here, and you can find her down here as the support to Hanorak. And she, maybe for some people, doesn't look as cool as some of the other two characters, but she is very, very strong nonetheless because of what she's able to do. So basically, at the start of her turn, at the start of each of her turns, she removes one random debuff from all allies. So if you have enough speed, this is pretty crazy. She also removes 2 random debuffs instead from allies who are under continuous heal buffs, which does happen with her kit. So if you look at her basic A1, she attacks one enemy, has 30% chance of placing a decreased speed debuff, which is also super, super important. This goes up to 50% with legendary books. This is really big, especially on bosses that are able to be slowed. Really important. And it does place a continuous heal buff on her for 1 turn, and also places another continuous heal buff for 1 turn on the ally with the lowest HP. So that's 2 for just using the basic skill there. Really important because then you'll remove 2 random debuffs on her turn for those characters who have that. Really, really good skill there too. Her A2, Radiant Suffering, attacks one enemy, has a 75% chance of placing a 50% decrease attack debuff, which is huge. Again, for bosses, super, super huge, reducing enemies' damage. Block buff debuff for 2 turns. This is guaranteed, 50% up to 75%. No, sorry, 100%. What am I talking about? 100% here if you have the books in it to do both of those things. It also applies a debuff spread, taking 2 debuffs from the target and placing them on all enemies. So this is pretty big. In this case, when you're using the A2, and if she's the only one with the debuffs, you're basically spreading decreased attack and block buffs. But really, really big thing there. Also, a lot of her damage is based on defense. So you kind of want to build her more tanky, defensive, which as a support character means she's not going to die all that easy either. And then she has a great buff. Her A3 Desert Fitness, 60% increased defense buff and 30% speed buff on all allies for 2 turns. With the books, this brings this down to a cooldown of 3. So with enough speed, she's basically putting this up all the time for your allies, which is really, really important. These are some of the most important buffs and debuffs in the game, if I gotta be honest, between the increased defense and speed, and then the decrease attack down, and then speed down. The only thing missing really is defense down. You can find that on another character in your team. But these represent some of the most important buffs and debuffs in the game on a single character, which is why she's rated so highly, and why this is something that you really need to consider. Again, I'm not saying what you should do and what you shouldn't do. If I was starting a new game again, I'll be honest that I probably would be taking Tahanak as my first character, but that's because, if you use my promo code, the QR code in the top right hand of the screen, the promo link in the description down below, you'll get yourself Corrado Fox Hunter, who is another valid damage-based character as well. I'm not going to be spending as much time to talk about him in this. He's not going to be as strong, in my opinion, as someone like Alice or Tholen, but still something, that you'll be able to use no problem and will help you in your game. And honestly, between Corrado and the 3 epics that you're gonna get, and we're gonna do the thing at the end anyways, there's gonna be a lot of characters for you to choose from. So it won't matter that much if you do decide to go with another character, but I just really, really want to place some emphasis onto Hanorak. And actually, for Hell Hades, which is a great resource, by the way, if you're a new player, hellhades.com has some great Raid Shadow Legends resources. Rates to Hanorak a 4.5, and this is basically how well they are in the totality of the game across the entire game spectrum. So 4.5, Alice was actually rated a 4.0, probably because she's more valid in certain places than others compared to Tahanak, and Tholen is also 4, probably because they're mainly damage-based characters. But Tahanak and support are some of the best stuff in the game. Her ratings across the game are very high in a variety of different game modes, which is why she's such a great character and why I probably would choose her if I was starting again. But I just wanted to give some options to you guys. I wanted to kind of give my reasonings about all 3 of these characters. These promo codes are the current available ones that I think that you guys should be considering when starting a new account in Raid Shadow Legends. And before we go, I want to do that call to action again and let you guys know about Corrado Fox Hunter, who you will get for free for downloading the game using the QR code or in the link in the description down below. And also 3 other epic characters, the epic support Tagore, the epic controller support, Ugo, who also does place defense down, by the way, so that'd be a great combination with Tahanak, and also Fane, who is a good single target debuffer and useful in Demon Lord Clan Boss. So some great champions alongside Corrado, and then the promo code that you decide to use, whether that's going to be Tholan Falbeard, Alice, or Tahanak. The choice is yours. I'll leave the promo codes in the description down below for all 3 characters. Let me know what you think in the comments, and I will see you guys all on the next video. And if you like this video, make sure you hit that subscribe button if you haven't already, and you'll be greatly helping out the channel. Have a great day, and I'll see you guys on the next one.